How quickly do you think you noticed there was a decrease in pain once you started to digest it?
Oh, literally like 3 days.
3 days? Hey everyone, we have a case study today with Kristen, who suffered from RA for over 11 years. She describes her pain as 8 out of 10 with big limitations on the mobility in her body as well. This deeply impacted upon her life, a career as a hairdresser. And I can't wait to share with you how she was able to turn this around in over just the past 2 months. The results are shocking and how she did it even more. I can't wait. I'm Maggie, UMD. I am a functional and holistic medicine physician and the creator of Transform and the Transform protocol on how to turn around any autoimmune disease naturally. If you haven't joined our Facebook group, make sure you click the link above this video or below this video to join our Facebook group. At the time of this recording, we're at almost 62,000 members, making us the largest Facebook group around autoimmunity, period. So join the group, click the link to join. If you're watching from YouTube, make sure you give us a thumbs up, give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell and get notified so that every time we go live, you become alerted to that. So can't wait for you guys to watch her journey today and see how Kristen was able to turn her RA around.
I am the co-host here at Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally, and Emmanuel. Let's hear from Kristen.
Hi, I'm Kristen Carnicelli. I'm a hairdresser. I've been a hairdresser for 26 years. I have 2 daughters. I was diagnosed with RA about 11 years ago.
So walk me back to how you were diagnosed with the rheumatoid arthritis.
Well, basically starting in 2010, around November, my toe hurt. So I went to the doctor and I got shuffled around with a podiatrist and finally got some blood work done in April of the next year, where the blood work came up that I had the inflammation factors for RA.
You said you were diagnosed 11 years ago. I mean, you obviously just graduated recently from our 2-month online program. At the start of this program 2 months ago, can you give me an idea of what kind of symptoms were you having and how severe were they?
I was inflamed in my hands, my wrists, sometimes my elbows, my ankles, and my toes. I sometimes had inflammation on and off through my throat. And I have been taking prednisone for 5 years straight, 10 milligrams. Yeah, it's a lot. And 2 times I take 4 Advil. The problem with that is I was having to wrap my wrists. I was putting myself on tapers almost every week, every other week, because
trying to lower the dose of the medication, the prednisone or the Advil.
I was taking more than I was even supposed to because it wasn't working anymore. I was giving myself tapers going from 10 to 30 and then 20 and then 15 and then 10. And then I'd be on my normal 10 again for 4 or 5 days. And then I'd have to spike my prednisone again because it wasn't working anymore.
You weren't tapering. You were basically frequently high dosing yourself over and over and over again. That's not tapering. That's the opposite.
Okay.
That's like self high dosing on a very regular basis, and it wasn't working even, correct?
Correct.
Kristen, I'm just curious. It sounds like over the course of more than a decade, your RA just seemed to get worse and worse. And now you're talking about almost full body inflammation and all of your joints sound like they're hurting, all the big ones. What was it like living like that?
Well, I didn't live like that for too long. When I first got diagnosed, the doctor, I said, okay, so what do we do about this? And she threw her head back and laughed and said, you don't do anything, you take medication. And I went, okay, have a nice day. And I left and I never went back there. So for the first couple of months, I got on the gluten-free bandwagon fairly quickly. But the first couple of months, I couldn't walk. I couldn't lift my legs. I had to manually with my hands lift my legs to get into the car, to get my husband was literally carrying me up the stairs at night to put me to bed. So I was functioning. I still worked. I still managed to figure it out, but I look back and I have no idea how I did it. It was painful and scary, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to work anymore. And it was just like, what do I do? I have kids still home. My daughters they're like adults, but they still lived here, you know.
Kristen, a lot of people don't realize just because you have RA, like rheumatoid arthritis, there's still a whole lot. It's not just hands. It may not just be elbows, knees, any joint could be impacted, and even not just joint, but even the connective tissue, like your tendons, even your vocal cords, which is a connective tissue, can be impacted. So with your feet, I know I had plantar fasciitis. I have Hashimoto's and mixed connective tissue disorder, but I had plantar fasciitis for 2 years where I couldn't even stand. Every step was like walking on glass. Did you feel like you had classic symptoms already in your feet, or was it like totally other unexplained type feet pain?
Well, at first with the podiatrist, he told me that I had worn out the natural sole in the ball of my foot. And of course, I was about a little shy of 200 pounds at that point. So it was at my heaviest. And I thought to myself, well, now how would I do that? I barely move. Like, you can't wear out the ball of your foot if you're not like overusing it. Like, it didn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this guy's just pulling things out of thin air and doesn't really know what he's talking about. I did get that almost the burning through my arms of like the burn, you know, when somebody takes your arm and twists it.
I do. I have had neuropathy
here.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
I've had neuropathy, and that could be neuropathy with nerves in your hands, but the tendons, look, rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease against the joints. But when your body already mistakes part of your joint as a target, can it mistake many other targets in your body as an autoimmune target as well? Yes. So we find that the fascia, the tendons, the ligaments themselves could be other targets of autoimmune attack, regardless of whether you have rheumatoid arthritis or not. You can have Hashimoto's like me, mixed connective disorder. You can have lupus, any autoimmune disorder. You can still have burning and pain in your tendons and ligaments because they're just other targets of autoimmune attack, as you've learned.
Right.
It sounds like you had some frustrating experiences with physicians. I wonder if you could just tell us about what was it like trying to get answers?
It was difficult. I'm working right now with my 5th RA doctor. So the first one I dumped immediately. I moved on to another woman who, she seemed pretty cool at first, but you know, they immediately like, oh, they're not doing the right thing. I'm going to do the right thing. We're going to try this med. We're going to try this. And she was the one who got really nasty. She wanted to give me cortisone shots in my elbows, because at one point my elbows I couldn't touch my hair or my face, which is hard to do when you're a hairdresser. I was like chasing my head around to even try to put it in a ponytail. And she was like, you're being ridiculous. My husband was ready to, you know, because he went with me to the appointments, and she's like, you're being ridiculous. I have 4-year-olds that get cortisone shots. And I'm like, oh, okay. Willingly on their own. And she's
you're like, and
you're ridiculous. I'm not going to discuss this. And I said to her, I don't believe in cortisone. They're just temporary fixes. They're not good for you. I'm not doing that. Let's do something that will get this inflammation to go down permanently. She's like, well, you just have to find the right med.
So her only option was, let's just switch medications, more medications, and procedures like injections. Those were their only offers. And those are your only choice. And if you didn't do it, you were a child.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where most people sit with their RA. This is not unusual. I mean, this is really common. And Chris, this isn't just like specific to you. I mean, you've been in the group and you've been in the program. This is typical what people are hearing from their doctors.
Very, very. And I did try all the meds though. I took Enbrel, Humira, Actemra, Orencia, Azalea. I took them all. And what I found was, me personally, I'm allergic to gold.
Yeah.
So in that,
they actually infuse gold sometimes, just so you know.
Well, they mimic gold. They mimic down to the molecular structure.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be able to take them. And when I tried to tell the doctor I'm allergic to gold, I can't tell. Well, you have no proof of that. Because on the commercials, they say, if you're allergic to the ingredients, please tell your doctor. Well, the doctor doesn't care.
Of course you could be allergic to gold.
So I proved it. I went to an allergy doctor and got the test done. And
of course you could be allergic to gold, just like you could be allergic to lead, nickel, any metal.
Yeah. And then he says, oh, well, I guess you're right. Maybe you should try some of that holistic stuff. I was like, okay, just be quiet.
Well, okay. So Chris, let's talk about this. When you say, they say, let's try the holistic stuff. I want to find out what really prompted you to finally look outside the box and look into a root cause or functional approach to dealing with your RA. What really pushed you to do that finally?
Well, because within a couple of months, like I said, I had started the gluten-free stuff, and that worked for me. Actually, in a huge amount, it worked for me. And I guess it's just from internet and, knowing that I might have had a gut issue, reading up on it and seeing this and that. And so I just tried different things, the collagen. I've been on collagen for a long time.
Yeah.
I was part of a Facebook group for rheumatoid arthritis, and somebody threw up a post of a video of yours.
Wow.
Or, Facebook just suggests, this person or whatever. And I'll never forget. It was 7:00 in the morning. I sat down, you popped up and you start talking. And within 10 minutes, I'm in tears. Like, I got to do this. Oh my God. She's saying everything I've been saying and no one ever listens to me. I have to do this. So I talked to my husband. He was like, absolutely.
So you were on board almost immediately.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you had any reservations though about the program at all.
Other than like the cost thing I had to do in my head a little bit. With all the money we've put into the doctors and the gas going out, because I'm in a town where there aren't any rheumatologists. So we've got to go 35 to an hour minutes away. I just said to my husband, I said, Jay, I can spend this money right now and be better for the rest of my life and not have to continue to spend loads of money on co-pays, and our insurance isn't great. And even monetarily, it's a chunk in the beginning in the process of the, thinking about it, but it's nothing. It's a year of co-pays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is kind of what it ends up being to me.
I think people haven't done the math on that, and they just look at the number and they don't realize how much they're already paying to stay sick. I want to ask you this question, which is, what were your top 3 symptoms? First of all, 1, 2, 3.
My wrists, my hands, my feet.
All pain.
All swollen and hurt.
So on a scale of 0 to 10 on pain, what was your level of pain overall? 10 is the worst, 0 is no problem.
Probably to a normal person who's not used to pain.
I know what you're saying.
Right?
Right.
Probably an 8. But because I became so accustomed to it, I ignored it where other people would have been.
You were working with a level 8 out of 10 pain full-time as a hairdresser, lady, and taking care of your adult children and family at home.
Yeah.
Okay. That's common for people with autoimmunity. Everybody watching, this describes you and me. Okay. Not just Kristen.
Yep.
So level 8 out of 10 pain. What about movement wise? How much, 10 is worse, movement limitation, 0 is no limitation. How much of your movement was limited on a scale 0 to 10?
9.
So big limitations.
Yeah, I still have some limitations, but you adjust or whatever, but it is getting better.
What kind of limitation on movement? Describe it to me.
My wrists.
Yeah.
That's as far back as I can put my wrist. And this one.
Yeah. See that, everybody? So that, like, people think movement and mobility, they think just feet or legs, but hand movement limitation, and her working as a hairdresser, trying to shampoo people's hair, cutting, all that, it requires mobility. Okay. So question for you. You're just, literally, you just did the program, started 2 months ago, and you just recently graduated. And I tell people it's the first 2 months to launch you into a year of autoimmune turnaround. I want to know where those symptoms are at right now. You said pain was level 8 out of 10 on all those joints. Where are we at right now?
Probably a 2 or a 3.
In 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had already gone gluten-free, dairy-free, and grain-free.
And still came in at 8 out of 10, doing all that. Then what do you think? People think gluten-free, grain-free, dairy-free, that's going to be the solution. That brought you to an 8. So people want to know the secret sauce. Like, what really brought you from an 8 to a 2 without all those 20 additional medications or 20 additional injections or procedures? Because your doctors are not going to believe this. And so they're not even going to be watching this. I want all the other Kristens out there who's watching this to hear, how did you do it?
Honestly, I think the supplements for me have been huge. I was literally probably malnutrition because I also had food PTSD and was like barely eating. I was living on peanut butter and the testing, the blood work, I had no idea something was wrong with my thyroid. None.
Yeah.
None.
Huge. How big was that discovery for you? And what did you learn about your thyroid?
I learned that it was not functioning, and there was clearly some kind of autoimmune attack on my thyroid.
She's been told her thyroid was normal the
I've
whole
never
time.
had my thyroid checked. I
Can
had
you
no
believe that? How could someone with any autoimmune disease not have their thyroid checked and the full thyroid level we're talking about? So you
because the doctors pull everything apart.
Oh, I'm the rheumatologist. I won't check your thyroid.
Right.
And even if I did, I wouldn't know what the hell I was looking at anyway.
Exactly.
So you learned functional values for your thyroid. You discovered that you had actually a low production in your thyroid. How have you been able to help your thyroid? What things have you implemented that's helped your thyroid?
My blood sugar balancing, my gut health has been huge. That's so important. And the supplements have been.
Okay, we'll get to supplements, but about thyroid specifically, what are you doing for your thyroid currently?
Just taking supplements.
What has improved as a result of that?
Little by little, just my movement, my pain levels.
Thyroid has to do with movement and pain, everybody. This is the point. This is why I'm drilling in. People like your rheumatologist has no clue that this thyroid and autoimmune attack against the thyroid is totally linked with the pain and the autoimmune issue. They're linked. This is why I'm drilling in. First of all, which supplements did you take that you felt like made it such a huge difference?
So I'm taking SPM Max and digestive enzymes.
So people have no idea that supplementation can make such a huge difference in pain, because SPM Max is something that can really help decrease the inflammation in joints. And if you're interested in getting our pain protocol, we'll put a link up on top of this video so that you can also chat our team to get the pain protocol. Comment pain protocol in chat right now, and we'll get the pain protocol to you. That lists exactly how to use it. But you know what the shocker is? And I'm going to ask you your shock. What did you discover between the link of your digestion and pain?
It's everything. It has everything to do with it. Your gut health is absolutely everything.
But when people say gut health, even functional doctors out there, they don't mean your digestion, Kristen. So specifically, we're talking here, a holy grail teaching moment here is that, first of all, pretty much 100% of people with autoimmune disease have digestion issues. If you don't digest your food, there's going to be more pain-causing allergens that are in there. So you need to digest it properly. Number two, most people have low to no stomach acid who have autoimmune disease. Not having the stomach acid decreases absorption like magnesium, calcium. These are things that are needed for your nerves to function properly and not be in pain, and for your muscles to heal. So you mentioned digestion issue, but you also mentioned you were malnourished. Kristen was not digesting and absorbing her food properly, or even the very expensive supplements or medication she was taking, because she had these issues with digestion, low stomach acid, and we haven't even gotten into food sensitivities yet. So you started digestive. What happened once you started the digestive?
Well, I started going to the bathroom, right? That's a bonus. I had no idea that it was not okay to like go poop once a week.
Yes, you need to poop every day to get rid of those toxins that cause you pain.
Yeah.
So constipation is linked with pain.
Yeah.
So it helped you be more regular. It also helped digest the food and allergens. And so there was less allergens going through your body. How quickly do you think you noticed there was a decrease in pain once you started to digest it?
Oh, literally like 3 days.
3 days? Oh my God.
Were you shocked at how quickly things turned around for you, Kristen? I mean, this is wild. You're only out of the program a short time now, and your pain has decreased drastically. What was that like for you to see changes so quickly?
It was exciting. It is exciting because I feel like I'm still doing it. I'm still taking that trip. So every single day is better and better and better. Guess I didn't have a bad attitude towards it. So I was just like, yay, this is going to work. And I just went with it. I didn't say, well, I don't know, maybe not me. I was like, yay.
Well, you mentioned food traumas though. So because you came in already gluten-free, dairy-free, grain-free, whatever free, tons free. I'm curious, as a result of the program, and you had food mapping done as well, what did you find was really the things that was triggering the autoimmunity? What was the real culprits?
Yeah, I'm not as allergic to things as I thought I was, which is an enormous bonus because now I eat food.
She's
So
reintroducing food, and her pain went from 8 to 2, everybody. This is really important. People think food mapping, the process we have and only us have in this program, is a process I created. A lot of people think it means like they're going to be removing more and more foods based on their data. And the truth is most people are reintroducing more and more food and feeling better and better. What were you able to add back, Kristen?
vegetables. I love vegetables, but everything seemed to flare me. And with help from you and help from Allie, I learned how to manipulate when to eat and to take certain things with my food when I'm eating it, and it doesn't bother me anymore. So I eat vegetables every single day, and I love them, and I was missing them, and now I get them.
What kind of benefits did you gain from working with others and learning with others?
Well, of course, that you're not alone. And as Dr. Maggie says, you're not a zebra. You're not really, I mean, we all want to be special, right? But no, we don't. I'm not. It's to have that camaraderie, to know that other people feel the pain that I feel, and that I can talk to them and hey, I need to, complain for a minute. Will you listen to me? And they're like, heck yeah. So just that I have this whole community now. I have my 6 people or whatever that I started with, and I can text this one and call so-and-so on the phone and go, this is what I experienced today. How are you doing? How are you feeling? You have a whole new group of friends.
It's really helped you. And then also, you've been through so many doctors, right? And you have been frustrated, told that if you don't do exactly what I want you to do, you're going to end up with a bad outcome. But then you found Dr. Maggie. And you immediately felt a connection with her, so much so that you believed immediately, this is what's going to make me well. I'm curious, what did you love then working with Dr. Maggie? I want to hear.
Well, just that I knew that I was getting honesty. I wasn't getting judged. I wasn't getting sold and pushed drugs on me. She's very adamant about, yes, we have supplements. Yes, you need certain things. I don't want you on them forever. You need to function properly so you're not taking this stuff. That kind of thing. Just there was a genuine, caring, understanding there that the other doctors don't care. You're just a patient. You're just this quick next money train for them. Does that make sense?
It really does. You were getting honesty, compassion, and care where you had never found it in a medical setting before.
But, I think Kristen is pointing out something that people out in the public may not be aware of, which is how do we get financially compensated? The model of financial compensation of the doctor that you see determines what you get offered, not because of what's best for you. So if you think about the conventional doctor, they're paid to move you in and out of room as quickly as possible. And they are trained and paid, basically subsidized by pharmaceutical companies. And also hospital systems or clinics that reward them for procedures, that pays them more for giving procedures. So that's the financial compensation model. When you're looking at the compensation model for natural doctors or functional medicine doctors or supplement companies, their compensation models, if you have dependence on their supplements for life. So there is no reason for them to teach you what data you need to determine if you need it in the first place, how to fix what's causing the problem so you don't need their product for the rest of your life. And that to me is really important to understand. If that's that compensation model, they're going to want you as dependent on their green medicine for as long as possible. So for me, I feel like I have the third thing, Kristen, is that I feel like my compensation model is I'm being paid to teach you the skill to actually have discernment, to know what you need and don't need for life. I'm actually providing the service of actually teaching you what's causing these problems so you can end the cause, so you're no longer dependent on medication or green medication. So I think that's the difference of people investing in an educational model versus a dependency model, whether it's on medication or procedures or supplements.
Yeah, I agree with that. I didn't want to be tied to a medication for the rest of my life. I'm not a needle person. I can't imagine shooting myself in the stomach for the rest of my life once a week. It's just not.
And I bet you also can't imagine going down that path and it still wasn't working and it still wasn't getting you well and you were having trouble walking and it was certainly impacting your job performance, I would imagine.
Yeah, I had to cut back on my hours. I had to take longer with each person. There were days that I can cut you, but I can't blow you dry. Like things like that. And I am still.
Now that you're feeling better, what's the outlook for you?
Well, I can definitely work more hours. Now it's been so long, like I will take on certain colors that I wasn't really doing before. And I'm like, okay. But I have a tendency to be kind of like, you know what, let the 25-year-old hairdresser do that because I don't really feel like it anymore.
It's called choice though, Kristen, that's choice.
So now I have that choice. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you a question. What is something that you can do now effortlessly that 2 months ago you would have thought was impossible?
I can open jars and cans of things, and like I can open my cat food can where I was usually like, honey, will you do
Open
this?
cat food can, yes.
I know it's clear, but I like those little things that you're like, oh, and I need somebody home. Well, I couldn't make that. I couldn't open the bag. Like
I totally get it. Same thing happened to me for a while. Okay. So what is something surprising you learned about you as a result of this program?
That I'm actually really good at like taking a protocol and applying it to myself and sticking with it and not getting frustrated and not getting bored with it and quitting. Not a quitter.
What is something, because there's literally hundreds of thousands of Kristens sitting out there watching this video that are frustrated with the doctors like you were, that had symptoms like you were, had such an impact on their life from autoimmune disease like you were. What would you say to that Kristen who's watching this video now?
Don't waste any time. Sign up and do it. Like I tell, well, of course, because I'm a hairdresser, right? So I've got customers that sit in my chair and they can't get away from me. So I tell everybody. I have like 6 or 7, 8 people now that are like seriously contemplating taking it because I'm like, well, here I'm living proof. You're like, I'm not faking it. Like, look at what my wrist looked like today. And what did it look like last 5 weeks ago when you came in? And so I am a walking advertisement to my clientele and to the people that I interact with.
Well, there's nothing like a walking advertisement than results.
And you were able through the program to see so many others going through. It wasn't just you getting those positive results, right? What was that like? Was pretty much everybody around you celebrating wins?
Oh, every day. And you know what too, is it's really actually kind of fun for me. I wasn't starting from ground zero. I was starting already gluten-free, like I said, all that. So to watch some of these people start from nothing and see that 6 days into gluten-free, they can, I'm like, see?
How about them watching Kristen 2 days into her digestive enzymes and her digestion support going, see?
Yeah. Exactly. But so we all had that, but to see somebody from ground zero made me realize that I have improved like that with leaps and bounds. But for me, it took years because I didn't find you right away. But like to see those people, like I'm standing today, it's fabulous.
And I'm thinking about your family, Kristen. Now, what a difference in you. What do they see in your transition and your transformation here?
I think the only person that actually counts for that would be my husband. So he loves it. He's like, oh, you look so good. Are you feeling better today? How you doing? Like, you want to go do this? And it's nice because the better I feel, the more fun we get to have together. Like he plays in a band. So I'm like, I feel good enough to stay up till 11.
You used to sing, lady.
I did. But I'm not missing it right now. I don't want to stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning.
I understand, but I'm just saying you're going to have a choice soon.
Well, I do have a choice to. I think that I have definitely had some conflict with certain people. Don't want you to tell them about it. And with some clients also, oh, well, my doctor said, I'm like, well, okay, well, good for your doctor.
Well, nothing I'm saying is against the doctors. That's the interesting thing. Nothing I'm saying is against what the doctors are doing, but I'm just saying, hey, there's like 30 other options. There's 30 other things you can do. And there's 30 other ways to actually get better without having to do those things. Or if those things don't work for you. Yeah. Right. You have choices.
Yes. And I've gotten a little snarky because it's just in my personality. So when people are like, oh, I
know
could never
you
do that. I love pizza. And I'm like, well, love your limp too then.
Wow,
I literally said that to somebody.
Kristen,
Like,
you're getting a little Dr. Maggie in you.
she was like, oh, well, I guess I never thought it about that way. Well, now I'm going to have to listen to you. What's the first thing I do? Well,
but this education has not only educated yourself, but it sounds like it's also made you a teacher to those who are willing to embrace it and accept it. And that's special because now not only are you helping yourself, but maybe you're helping others.
That's what I hope. I mean, I love it. And I love to talk to people about it when they want to hear about it. I love to spread the knowledge and make people, feel better. And I tell everyone I possibly can, you got to do this. You got to be healthy. This is ridiculous. Don't feel this way. You don't have to.
Awesome, Kristen. Thank you so much for spending your time and sharing your journey with us. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people in the audience that are going to identify with parts of your story and your symptoms, then diagnosis, and it's going to affect a lot of lives. So I want to say thank you for sharing your story.
Oh, you're so welcome. And thank you, Dr. Maggie.
You are welcome.
Kristen, thank you so much for sharing that story. It's really incredible to hear. Dr. Maggie, it's really a testament to this program and to all of your hard work that you've invested to try to help everybody heal.
Well, I think the shocking example about this case, the big takeaways and ahas, and I want people in the audience to maybe even take notes on this, is that number one, digestion really matters for pain. And she talked about her experience within 2 to 3 days with diminishing pain. Number two, she talked about food mapping, how she was doing all these elimination diets, and it only took her from a 10 to an 8 level pain. But within just a couple of weeks of reintroducing a lot of foods and working on her digestion, she was able to bring her pain from level 8 to 2. And then finally, supplementation. There are supplementations that work even better than medication. And she has tried all those medications. And she mentioned blood sugar we didn't even dig deep into. So, and there's like hundreds of tools for anybody suffering with any autoimmune issue to be able to turn it around as quickly as Kristen has over the past 2 months. If you guys know anybody that's suffering from RA, any autoimmune issue, dealing with digestion, gut issues, pain, mobility issues, tag their name in the comment section because sharing is caring and it's raising awareness. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, make sure you click the link above of this video to join our Facebook group, Transform Autoimmune Disease Naturally. And to learn more about us, join our Facebook group. And there's should be a link above to also chat our team. If you're going to comment under this video, check your message requests in a couple hours later as well, or the next day. There might be a message from our team sharing some of our resources. Thanks, everybody.